Weekend Edition with Rajdeep Sardesai.
Hello and welcome to the Weekend Edition with me, Rajdeep Sardesai, and the clutter of news through the week. Which are the stories that matter? Which are the debates that we focus on? Every weekend we hope to train the searchlight on those stories. Let's bring you the headlines first on the Weekend Edition. Corporate India bats for Narendra Modi as Prime Minister and sparks off a controversy. Is the Gujarat Chief Minister really Prime Ministerial material and acceptable now to all? Slumdog Millionaire sweeps the Golden Globe. Does the film romanticize India's poverty? Actor Irfan Khan joins us later in the show. Also on the show, we'll bring our editorial of the day, image of the week. But first, the big controversy of the week. And it's Corporate India's big endorsement of Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi. The praise of leading industrialists for Modi and suggestions that he could be Prime Minister has created a flutter in political circles. What was considered unthinkable till a few years ago is now suddenly in the realm of possible. Here's what the bigwigs of India Incorporated had to say on brand Modi.
During my last visit, that my father saw in Narendra Bhai, and I'll use the Gujarati phrase that I used last time, saying, Lambi race no ghodo che. That if one Dhirubhai Ambani could do so much for India, imagine the power of 1,000 Dhirubhais. Similarly, if one Narendra Bhai can do so much for Gujarat, imagine what is the possibility for India by having Narendra Bhai as the next leader of India.
हम बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां चलाते हैं, उसको बारीकी से समझते हैं, आगे बढ़ाते हैं, पर आज मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि अगर इस देश में कोई सीईओ है जो कि एक कंपनी नहीं, एक सेक्टर नहीं, एक स्टेट, एक कंट्री चला सकता है, वो श्री नरेंद्र मोदी है.
And I'm very proud that I listened to my own advice and that today I can stand in front of you and say that perhaps I'm not stupid any longer.
See in the leadership of Sri Narendra Bhai a determination to overcome all odds, a determination to engage with all sections of society.
Okay, it brings us to our question of the week. Is Narendra Modi now really Prime Ministerial material? That's the big debate. Joining us on the show, Suhail Seth, Managing Partner, Councilage. Chandan Mitra, Rajya Sabha MP, close to the Bharatiya Janata Party. He's also Editor-in-Chief of The Pioneer. Manish Tiwari, spokesperson of the Congress. Also joining us from Gandhinagar, Tridip Surud, Gandhian scholar based in Gujarat. Thank you all very much for joining us. The big question, now that Corporate India has endorsed Narendra Modi, has he taken one more step closer towards becoming the next Prime Minister of the country, Chandan Mitra?
Yes, definitely. Without doubt. I think this is something that was waiting to be said. And the years of sustained media campaign and also campaign by his political opponents to put him down and denigrate him has now been finally completely defeated. I think Narendra Modi is definitely one step closer to what we need in this country, his Prime Ministership.
Manish Tiwari, is there an acknowledgement in some circles? I know you can't say it on the program, but deep down inside, are you accepting, conceding that Narendra Modi is going to become maybe not 2009 but 2014, the man you will have to defeat?
Let's understand one thing very clearly, Rajdeep. It's not 5 industrialists who elect the Prime Minister of India. It's the 1 billion people of India who elects the Prime Minister. And the second thing is, I have no problems with a particular industrialist endorsing a political leader. But look at the man they've endorsed. He has the blood of innocence on his hands. He is a man who is not allowed to step on the soil of the United States of America because of his abysmal human rights record. He is a person who has led that whole straight up a garden path.
So you're going to judge him in 2008 by 2000. In every debate of this kind, Narendra Modi will be judged through the prism of Godhra and Gujarat 2002.
Of course, because Adolf Hitler is similarly judged through the prism of the concentration camps against the Jews.
I can only remind Manish that the blood of many innocents is very much in the hands of the Congress, particularly of those who died in the anti-Sikh violence in 1984. So that cannot be a criterion, and Congress is nobody to talk about it.
Allow me to come back on that. See, unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Congress expressed regret, apologized for it, but their leadership went to Goa and actually patted him on the back after the Godhra massacre.
If Narendra Modi tomorrow was to express regret and remorse, apologize for Gujarat 2002, then perhaps this debate would be over. Then we would judge Narendra Modi on what corporate India is judging him on his ability to attract investments, on his dynamism, on his efficiencies.
You see, the problem is that Congress is scared of Narendra Modi. They are scared of his popularity. And therefore, even if for a moment if I assume that he apologizes, they will find something else. Now he says he can't set foot in the United States. The point is, if he can set foot anywhere in India and win people's confidence, that
but you can't be Prime Minister of the country and not have a visa to go to the United States.
We know what Americans do. They will change
the Chief Minister of Gujarat.
You believe they will change their view if he was a BJP candidate for Prime Ministership?
Americans have backed tin-pot dictators all over the world. So even they have
the Chief Minister of Gujarat is in the company of Kurt Waldheim, who was acknowledged Nazi. He is in the company of Milosevic. And he's in the company of all those people, people like Noriega, because of their human rights records, who have not been allowed to set foot in various other countries.
The political debate is a bit predictable, but I just want to move to the corporate debate for a moment. Suhail Seth, as a representative who's close to corporate India, you've seen the manner in which corporate India has endorsed Narendra Modi. You yourself wrote an effusive piece not too long ago about Narendra Modi's abilities to galvanize corporate India. Are you seeing, therefore, in a sense, the arrival of Narendra Modi, or is corporate India missing the wood for the trees? That being Prime Minister is about values, not valuations.
Well, thank you for using my phrase, but let me address two quick questions. One, what Manish said. In India, you can't predict the Prime Minister. No one ever imagined that we'd have to suffer Deva Gowda, or for that matter, Inder Gujrat. I think the bigger point is, has Narendra Modi as a brand moved from the Godhra needle to a transformational role? The answer is yes. Does he galvanize corporate India? The answer is yes. Because his administration is largely believed to be honorable, not corrupt, and very, very efficient. These are the realities of the man. I'm not for a moment condoning what happened in Godhra or the eventual impact. I think judge a man in his completeness.
So what is transformational? What is so transformational you believe in Narendra Modi?
Three things. One is, he has been able to attract investment. Now, there'll be this huge debate, but has the investment actually flown in? The fact is, in recessive times, he puts up a vibrant Gujarat, gets every industrialist worth his salt. Number two, I think the way he's run the administration, there has been no mention, there's been no slur on the track record of the administration. Third, he is truly inspirational for the people of that state. I mean, the Congress and the BJP. Look, I don't care about either the Congress or the BJP. Let me tell you, the man has won 2 elections. And Manish rightly said that 1 billion, that 5 industrialists don't make a prime minister. No, 1 minute. There's a bigger point. 5 industrialists don't make it a prime minister. But our prime minister currently, who's an honorable man, has not been elected either.
Okay, let's come back to the track record of governance of the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and let me expose the myth for what it is. Gujarat today is the most indebted state in the country. 1,20,000 crores in debt, which means an average Gujarati has a per capita debt of 20,000 on his head. The higher, unemployment in Gujarat is up ever since Modi came. 62,000 small and medium enterprises have closed down.
So you're saying he's not an inspirational figure?
Not at all.
He's not a figure who's provided the kind of clean governance. You're not willing to accept
look across the board on every parameter, whether it is a social parameter or an economic parameter. Gujarat has actually gone down. And winning elections does not condone crime.
He's attracted MOUs worth a whopping 12 lakh crore or for $241 billion in a recessionary time.
Let me also tell you that 2002, 2005, 2007, vibrant Gujarat, only 23.52% of those MOUs.
You're saying it's a statistical jugglery? It's a
facade. It's a facade.
We can either be in denial that the man does no good, which I think is a silly premise to place the argument on.
Would you accept that he does some good? Perhaps it's marketed well, but he does some good. Would you at least concede that?
He's a good exhibitionist.
He's a good exhibitionist.
He's a good exhibitionist.
See, this is a typical. I don't want to get into this political thing with Congress and BJP. The fact of the matter is, industrialists rarely agree on many issues. All industrialists across the spectrum agree on him.
Industrialists are self-interested. These are all industrialists who want to invest in Gujarat.
But Rajdeep, why would an industrialist want to invest in Gujarat if the atmosphere in Gujarat was not
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Simple. Let's use it logically. And he is a great marketing guy. He is a great marketing guy.
I'll give you the nano example. For every nano car which is manufactured, 60,000 rupees is being contributed in terms of concessions by the Gujarat Treasury.
Sunil Mittal also, to be fair, said that, look, we run our companies, this guy runs a state. So he's a great CEO. What is a CEO supposed to be responsible for? He's responsible to stakeholders.
What about his social vision? What about the CEO? Is a CEO of a state like a CEO of a company?
Corporate leaders of India. So then the corporate leaders of India should have looked at his track record of governance. And the facts speak otherwise.
Okay,
the facts do not testify.
Have looked at the facts of
They've elected him twice.
Okay, let me just bring I just want to bring in a voice. I want to bring in my voice from Gujarat. Tridip Sarut, Gandhian scholar, has been tracking Narendra Modi over the years and his politics and what goes on in Gujarat. Tridip, he is a contentious, polarizing figure, no doubt about it. But which way is the balance swinging? You've got one group here who says he's a transformational figure who's inspiring Gujarat. They're showing the figures of investment into Gujarat, and the Congress is harking back to economic figures as well as his social track record. Where does the truth really lie? Does it now lie in increasing shades of grey?
I think it lies in the increasing shades of grey. I think that three things are important. One is that here is a government and an administration which gives primacy to industrial investment to the exclusion of everything else. And so the industrial houses are going to love him. Two, he does not wish to burden his industrial policy with any social vision. So he's trying to create a separation between a social vision and an industrial vision, which I think is misplaced. Third is that the ability of the administration to speed up both the legislative process and the administrative process is remarkable. So what is being lauded here is that speed and a large consensus that Gujarat has about what constitutes economic development. In absence of that consensus, it would be a far more contentious statement.
Are you saying therefore Narendra Modi's vision of development has not extended to tribal Gujarat, has not extended to perhaps the more impoverished parts of Gujarat, but in terms of being a single window clearance, he has been able to attract industry?
I think it is not an economic vision, it is an industrial investment vision that we're talking about. And that industrial investment vision does not include a larger idea of development.
Okay.
It does not include a much broader vision of society.
Okay, quickly respond, Chandra Mitra. Yes.
This myth is being created that he is industry friendly, therefore industrialists are going to endorse him. But look at his schemes for the ordinary people. His Narmada waters are flowing even up to Kutch. The fact is that there is a Jyotirgram project which is bringing 24/7 electricity to every village. Farmers are happy across the state. They are getting better prices for their produce. So how can you say
or his girl child scheme?
Or his girl child scheme, his ambulance 108 scheme, within half an hour ambulance reaches every doorstep. So in this situation, you can't say that he caters.
That ambulance scheme is not his; it's across different states. It's not Narendra Modi's scheme. Is it
the most successful one?
Is it therefore? Are you saying? Is it the big question about Mr. Modi always comes? Is he about hype and marketing, or is he about reality? Is the truth somewhere in between? That partly hype and part reality.
No, I don't.
He's about. Allow me to just say this. Allow me to just say this. You know, we were talking about his social track record. Gujarat even today has the highest female infant mortality rate after Tamil Nadu and Punjab. Gujarat still has the worst, sex ratio, the male-female ratio. It's at the bottom of the ladder.
Haryana is at the bottom.
Punjab or Haryana is at the bottom. It's among the bottom. Number 3, Gujarat is still 8th in terms of minimum wages. Gujarat is still 5th in terms of FDI inflow.
Is it about statistics, or now are we looking at inspirational leadership?
Can I tell you one thing? When people vote for people, they don't vote on statistical inferences. They vote on the emotional and the perceptual, which is right.
But you have a communalized environment and therefore you win an election. Does that
Are you saying if Narendra Modi keeps winning elections in Gujarat, that's good enough for him to be Prime Minister? I mean, elections are won on a majority-minority divide at times.
I do not belong to any political party, so I couldn't be bothered who's the Prime Minister, who isn't. I'm not in that debate. I'm saying if you look at Narendra Modi today, whether because of him being a wily gentleman, being great at marketing, has he moved the needle beyond Godhra? The answer is yes. Does he attract investment? Yes. And I disagree partially with the scholar there. I think industrial investment many a time adds and gives value to even your base produce in that state.
So
and we have empirical...
How's he moved the needle beyond Godhra? Would you like to extrapolate on it?
For the simple reason that Rajiv Sardesai is having this show on Narendra Modi.
That's hardly
Modi was not relevant.
The fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court of India still does not have confidence in his administration. That is why you have a special investigating team still investigating the
we can either shout out...
The
day Rajiv Sardesai runs a ticker saying Rahul Gandhi for PM, then we'll talk. Today Rajiv is running a ticker which says Modi for PM. So obviously there is a belief in some people, misplaced or otherwise, that Modi is capable of running the country because he runs his state well.
If you perform well on the economic front, perhaps like a Lee Kuan Yew has done with Singapore, therefore your social vision, if it's limited, doesn't matter. Or social vision as a section of society sees it. There's a section of society which believes that Narendra Modi has promoted the politics of hatred and identity. That section believes that Narendra Modi has no qualifications to be Prime Minister. Is there a mismatch between an economic vision and a social vision? And that's where the dividing line now comes on Narendra Modi.
The mismatch doesn't necessarily have to be there unless it either exists in reality or it is created or manufactured by political dispensation. Having said that, I would imagine that if anyone, and forget Narendra Modi, if anyone is strong as far as economic visioning is concerned, social change is a byproduct. You cannot have social change when you do not have the financial wherewithal.
Isn't it true? I'll give you a small example. Juapura, a large cluster of predominant Muslims in Ahmedabad, doesn't have a single ATM. So does vibrant Gujarat extend to that section of society or not? Isn't that a problem? I'm saying, isn't that a problem that Narendra Modi has to confront?
Juapura is not the only example. There are many parts of Gujarat, as there are in many parts of India, where the fruits of development have not reached. But for your one example, let me give you another one.
Yes.
The fact is that the face of the 2002 riots, Kutubuddin, who was seen begging for his life, was taken to West Bengal and rehabilitated by the CPM government. He has come back saying he's very happy in Gujarat and please leave me alone.
He did not come back because of Narendra Modi. The fact of the matter is that if you take a man away from his roots, he cannot live away from his roots. Let's not go into that.
Okay. I want to pursue my business. So what I'm saying is that, you see, just giving one or two examples of backwardness.
Sure. Are you saying, but before we conclude this first segment, are we acknowledging that Narendra Modi on the economic front, in the economic front, whether we like it or whether the Congress party likes it or not, is seen increasingly as an exemplar of the future, but his social vision remains a questionable...
Let me say this, you cannot divorce the economic and the social vision. It's a problem of the mindset. Narendra Modi is a fascist, continues to remain a fascist, and a fascist has no place in the liberal and pluralistic ethos of India.
Okay, I think we've heard both sides, but let's take a break at this point. We are going to look at other aspects of this. Where do other leaders, let's say Nitish Kumar, who's perhaps reviving a sixth state like Bihar, should he be seen as prime ministerial material? What really is it in a leader that makes him prime ministerial material? Before that, let me read out a blog that we've just received on the Modi debate. Ishad writes, "Give India Incorporated some land, preferably free of cost, and they'll back for anyone. They did it for Buddhadev till Singur happened, and now it's Modi. Of course, they are here to do business, and that's their one and only interest. fine, except that they shouldn't really talk about being socially ethical and responsible. What is evident from the recent Vibrant Gujarat Summit is that they all suffer from selective amnesia. These are the people who slammed Modi for the Gujarat riots. Now they're rooting for him. Before we analyze whether Modi is PM material, do we even know what is the conversion rate for the investment commitments made in Gujarat in the last few summits? We'll continue with that debate. That's only one viewpoint. There are several others who are backing for Modi at the moment. Much more on the weekend edition after a short break.
क्या है ऐसा आकर्षण आप में? क्या है ये चुंबक की तरह चिपके गए आ रहे हैं सर? कुछ तो होगा.
Okay, kuch to hoga Narendra Modi mein, says Sunil Mittal. Is Narendra Modi really prime ministerial material? That's our big debate on the weekend edition. With us, Suhail Seth, Chandan Mitra, Manish Tiwari and Pradeep Sarur. That's the big question they're answering. Is Narendra Modi really prime ministerial material? Suhail Seth, we're hearing corporate India effusive about Modi. Now, this analogy of a CEO becoming a prime minister. A country is very different to a corporation. A country is an association of equals. It's plural. It has to be very different to a corporation. How is corporate India getting ahead, perhaps, of itself?
What is Manmohan Singh? He's a politician or a technocrat? It's a futile argument to not equate the two for one other reason. I think it's obviously a country is not a company. But what are the three things that we look for? We look for increasing shareholder value, which means the citizenry of this country. We look at being responsible in terms of governance. And we look at creating a groundswell of not just wealth, but of capital, which is equitable and just.
And you believe Narendra Modi has done that?
I'm not getting into Narendra Modi is equal to Prime Minister. I'm saying, has Narendra Modi moved the needle either perceptually or in reality? The answer is yes.
You're saying he's reinvented himself in a sense post-Godra.
No, it's not about reinvention.
Manish Tiwari, is the Congress willing to at least concede that? Is Narendra Modi forever imprisoned in Godra, or has he reinvented himself? Every politician is entitled to reinvent himself.
Rajdeep, let's evaluate the Chief Minister of Gujarat on the benchmarks which Sohail has enunciated. First of all, is there increasing shareholder value? No. The social and economic reality of Gujarat does not testify to it. Is he responsible in any sense of the word? The Godara riots and its aftermath do not testify to it. Number three, is he increasing social and economic equity in the state? The answer is again no. You see, you give benefits to industrialists, you give benefits to industrialists, so obviously, they will come there, if that maximizes their bottom line, and they will endorse you. So therefore, I've only evaluated them on your benchmark.
While I have a lot of affection for Manish, surely all these industrialists, all the people who came from overseas, including ministers from Japan and Malaysia, have limited intelligence. They may not be as bright as Manish and people in the Congress.
They must have some personalized. Let's not personalize it.
They must have some basic intelligence.
But our industry...
What if they didn't endorse?
No, but let's look at this.
Being in the audience does not mean you endorse somebody.
Manish, but Chandan, for that matter, industries don't go to Bihar. The fact is Nitish Kumar
is... I sit on the Economic Council of Bihar.
The kind of industries who would probably go to Gujarat and invest don't go to a Bihar. But yet you have a chief minister there, Nitish Kumar, who's working overtime to turn around a 6 state. Yet we don't see Nitish Kumar being advertised as prime ministerial material. How much of this therefore is hype and marketing? Isn't that a bigger challenge to turn around a 6 state rather than turn around a state like Gujarat, which always was on the fast track?
You have a point there, but let me tell you that you just wait. Wait for a few more years. Let Nitish retrieve the state which had been condemned to hell by his predecessors. He has to now build the infrastructure. He has to bring back a semblance of administration. He has to end Gunda Raj, and then
no, but aren't you worried that a politician today is being evaluated on a very narrow criteria about investments into a particular
it is about marketing.
Judgmental observations that we are making. He was talking about Nitish Kumar carrying the cross of his predecessors. that same predecessor is the man who has turned railways around.
By
No,
not
let's see.
letting
No,
go.
that's precise. No,
Can
that's a different thing to say that.
So you're saying if Lalu Yadav turns around the railway ministry, he becomes prime ministerial material. Why the criteria that Suhail said would adopt?
All I'm trying to say is the problems of certain states are systemic. They go beyond individuals. So therefore, the judgmental observation that we are making is not correct.
Let's therefore look at this point. How much of this, therefore, becomes about effective marketing? Becoming prime minister, particularly in the age of the media, is how effectively you market yourself.
Obama won the elections in the United States, but he became president of the world on the 4th of November. It was marketing. He used every trick in the book, from social networking sites to firing the imagination of the youth. Increasingly, in this country, his party leader, Rajiv Gandhi, created the wave of marketing in politics when he hired an advertising agency.
Trildeep Sarut, every time we have a debate on Narendra Modi, it comes back to Godhra. He's polarizing. At one level, his supporters will cite investment, cite his integrity in terms of giving a relatively corrupt-free administration. The other side cites Godhra. Is it possible, you think, to go beyond this dualism? You've been a critic of Modi when it comes to 2002. Is it possible to see him in any other avatar now?
I think yes and no. Let me first say that, to Mr. Sohail Sheikh, that a country works on the idea of dissent and not a corporation. So there's a huge difference between a democratically functioning country and a corporation which has no place for democratic dissent in it. Having said that, let's move to Godhra. I think we can put Godhra aside only when there is a demonstration of justice that is delivered to the victims of the entire episode, whether they be Hindus, Muslims, Dalits, or the OBCs. The problem is that the judicial system and the justice delivery system seems and has been seen to be non-partial.
Right.
The Commission of Inquiry's reports have not been coming in, and the will of the administration and the judicial and the criminal investigation system has been very, very lax. So unless there is a very demonstrated act of justice to all the victims, we cannot move ahead. It's not about Modi, it's about justice.
Okay, fair enough. Suhail said you want to respond to that if Narendra Modi has to really aspire, therefore, for the top post, you cannot have a prime minister who, for whatever reason, is denied a visa by the US, who still remains in some way in the eye of a storm when it comes to a major incident like Gujarat 2002. That Modi also has to go beyond just endorsements from CEOs.
Absolutely. I think, and here I'm in complete agreement with Trilip, I think the basic thing which now perhaps Narendra Modi needs to address is how does he begin the reconciliation with truth, and how does he begin absolving himself, whether it is perceptual or real, of the realities of Godhra that have stuck on.
Just as the Congress perhaps needs to confront the other reality of Narendra Modi having driven his state on the economic fast track, doesn't the BJP also or his supporters have to confront themselves with the real track record of Modi? His critics say he's a one-man band. He tolerates no dissent. He destroys institutions. He has the blot of Godhra. These are all his criticisms. How does he get those criticisms to evaporate so that in a coalition era, he's an acceptable prime ministerial choice for the BJP-led coalition?
Look, Modi, first and foremost, is not answerable only to his critics.
Right.
He's also answerable to the people of Gujarat. And
the people of India.
And
you've got a Nitish Kumar who doesn't want Modi to come and campaign.
And Rajneet, for the blood of those innocents who are crying out for justice.
Let me complete. Now, the thing is that after 2002, Modi has taken substantial steps to improve the administration. And today, he's getting endorsement from industrialists. All these years, he won 2 elections without any endorsement from industrialists. So, industrialist endorsement is not the be-all and end-all of politics. It is one component that just shows how much legitimacy he has acquired, how people are viewing him in a new light.
At the end of the day, I want to ask the Congress this: how long is the Congress going to treat Narendra Modi as a political untouchable? How long are you going to say that Narendra Modi is someone the country cannot do business with? That's a political argument. But to call him it seems at times that when it comes to Narendra Modi, it's no longer a political argument, it's about an untouchability factor. Can we at least move beyond that and then judge his track record in vibrant Gujarat, whether he's attracted investments or not, whether it's hype and marketing? Let's have a more reasoned debate. It becomes more emotional, isn't it?
Even
about
a
Modi.
Let me take you back to 1933. Similarly, when the German capitalists developed a fatal attraction, for a dictator of that day and age, the whole world paid a very heavy price for it. The fact of the matter is, it's a mindset problem with him, and that mindset problem is going to remain. So therefore, he will remain untouchable.
Why doesn't the Congress defeat him on the facts and figures, some of which you've shown in this program, rather than make it an emotional argument? Isn't that a better way to do it in a democracy?
Let me tell you, the facts and figures tell their own story. It's a different matter that he's won 2 elections. Yes, the challenge for us remains that we have to defeat him at the hustings, and we will do that one day. That day will also come.
Suhail Seth, Chandan Mitra, Manish Tiwari, Tridip Sarut, appreciate your joining us here on the weekend edition. It's obvious that Narendra Modi may have achieved an element and a strong element of corporate acceptability, but politically, the divide is still sharp. But time will tell where Narendra Modi is heading. It's clear that you can't write him off. Still ahead on the weekend edition, actor Irfan Khan on the success of Slumdog Millionaire.
आजा आजा जिंद शामी आने के पहले आजा जरी वाले नीले